Hasbro and Marvel Legends. Prices have gone up, sales have gone down. Hello and welcome back to Jacob's Toys. Please do like, share, subscribe and all of those things. All support to the channel is very much appreciated. In this video we are going to discuss the recent price increase of Marvel Legends and Hasbro products as a whole and the inevitable sales going down. Now recently the website Cybertron, I think that's how you pronounce it, but it's the one here put across the bottom of the screen, released an article about the inevitable sales of Hasbro products going down recently, which coincides with the price increase. Now they state on their website that Hasbro's stock price has indeed plummeted to around $65 per stock. This is the lowest it's been in 5 years. Now they state on their website that the company was worth $12.3 billion in May, which is a huge amount of money. However, in 5 months' time, they have lost around about $3 billion, which is a huge amount to lose in such a short period of time. 5 months to be precise. Now, losing stock prices doesn't change the company immediately. It's not going to make any immediate changes, so everything within Hasbro will be working as it does and as it would be. But what a plummeting stock price does mean is that they can't borrow as much, and therefore they can't grow as much, and therefore the company will take a bit of a back seat and kind of slow down a little bit. So what does that all mean? Essentially, the company isn't making as much money, isn't selling as much. So the average customer isn't buying as much because things are more expensive. Now, one thing that did come out of this shareholder meeting is that Hasbro did announce that you should expect to see some sales in the not too near future, which initially does sound great. Hasbro products on sale, count me in. However, this is due to Hasbro and other retailers having a large inventory of stock that they can't shift. Now, they did mention in a recent press conference that they hoped that the Black Panther Wakanda Forever Marvel side of Hasbro and the Transformers Earthspark side of Hasbro would help increase sales. The reason being is these are tied in with some big theatrical releases and other merchandise, etc. So what does that mean to us as collectors? Well, it could mean a number of things. My initial thoughts were sales, great stuff. Let's get some stuff on sale. But inevitably, if you think about it, if they're producing product and they're having to sell that, they're having to discount that, then all that means in the long term is they're not going to be producing as much moving forward. Now let's look at it from a business point of view. If you created 10 products and only 2 of those sold, would you then create another 10 products in the next year, or would you produce maybe 5? Because let's be honest, it looks better to say, well, we sold 50%, 75% of our stock, as opposed to 10%, 20%. Now, as a Marvel collector for quite some time, I've kind of seen some dips and curves in the sales and the releases, and I must admit we are in pretty much a golden age of Marvel Legends collecting. There was a time when waves would come out few and far between throughout the year. There was hardly anything like a deluxe or a single card release. Whereas nowadays we have wave after wave after wave, we have deluxes, we have Haslab projects, we have a whole bunch of stuff on offer. Not to mention things like San Diego Comic-Con was the main kind of Comic-Con where you would see releases and reveals, with a few others scattered around at things like New York Comic-Con and MCM in London. Whereas now we have not only the main Comic-Cons, but we also have a dedicated Hasbro PulseCon, which is like a 2-day event for anyone that hasn't seen it, that's been running for a couple of years now, where they just give us a whole wave of reveals. We're also at a point where we have Haslabs being released one after another, after another, after another. Okay, some of these aren't as successful as others, aka Rancor and Cookie Monster, and of course the recent Marvel Legends Ghost Rider. But the fact that there are so many Haslab projects kind of in production as well shows that Hasbro really is pushing it out to the consumer. However, prices have gone up. They have skyrocketed up. Now, there is the argument that obviously costings have gone up and materials have gone up, etc., etc. So from a business point of view, me personally, I don't see it as them being greedy because the price of things have gone up. But when you compare their price increases to other brands' price increases, the price increase in itself is quite vast. Now, we quite often joke on the Geek Week in Review live stream podcast that, you know, back in the day you could pick up a whole wave of Marvel Legends for less than £100, whereas now it's nearer the £150 mark. And although we joke, when you think about it, that's quite a huge increase in a short amount of time. You know, it's almost doubled in price. Now, I think the one thing to take away from this is prices have gone up, the sales have gone down, and therefore, because there are going to be sales at retailers, at Hasbro Direct, we can expect to see less products being pushed out in the coming years. Which for a lot of collectors, they are going to say, well, this is great because it means that I can afford to buy most of what's put out there, as opposed to now where I'm having to cherry pick because of the prices. But ultimately, are those products that they're going to be putting out things that you're going to want on your shelf? If you're an MCU collector, for example, are they going to put out as many MCU products? Or on the flip side of that, if you're a comic book collector, are they going to put out as many comic book characters when the MCU products are tied so heavily with the Disney Plus series and the MCU releases in the cinema? It's all a little bit unknown at the moment. The only actual fact is prices have gone up, sales have gone down, and the future is a little bit uncertain. But Hasbro is a huge player in the toy industry, so they're not just going to disappear overnight, and there's not going to be any huge changes immediately. What do you think? What are your thoughts, feelings, concerns, etc.? Let me know in the comments. Thanks very much for watching. As always, I'm Jacob, aka Jacob's Toys. Please do like, share, subscribe, and all of those things, and I'll see you soon.